My girlfriend had $175,000 in student loans, so I paid it off and got her a new car. Then she said I wasn't her level, so I made her regret underestimating me. I, a 31-year-old male, met Vanessa, a 28-year-old female, at my college buddy Chris's wedding reception. She was absolutely stunning. Shoulder-length blonde hair, bright blue eyes, the kind of woman that turns heads when she enters a room. What really caught me off guard was that she seemed genuinely interested in me. She laughed at my terrible jokes and kept asking detailed questions about my software engineering career, which honestly isn't the most exciting topic at parties, but she acted like I was building the next Facebook. We exchanged numbers that night and started texting immediately. We went on several dates over the next few weeks. Nothing extravagant, just dinner, movies, normal dating stuff. After about a month, we made it official. The first few weeks were incredible, amazing chemistry, and that perfect honeymoon phase energy. She was constantly posting pictures of us on her Instagram and telling me how grateful she was to find someone real and genuine. But I started noticing that she always preferred coming to my place instead of hers, or how she'd suggest we stay in and order delivery rather than go out, saying she was budgeting for her future. I didn't think much of it since we were both comfortable with the arrangement. Then the sob stories began. Small issues at first. Her phone service got suspended because she forgot to pay the bill. Her landlord was harassing her about being a few days late on rent. Her hours at the marketing startup got reduced. I believed every word. About 2 months in, I visited her apartment for the first time. It was cramped and disorganized, but whatever. We were eating cheap Thai takeout when her phone started buzzing. She glanced at it, declined the call, then ignored it again 2 minutes later. I could see the stress building in her face. "Everything all right?" I asked. She completely broke down, full waterworks sobbing. I had no idea how to react, so I just held her and waited. "My car," she finally managed to say through tears. "The mechanic called. It needs $1,400 in repairs, and I don't have anywhere close to that. I don't know what I'm going to do." That's when everything came spilling out. She had nearly $24,000 in credit card debt on top of massive student loans from her MBA program. She was behind on almost every bill. Her credit score was around 485. She couldn't qualify for even a basic department store credit card. She was drowning financially. "I graduated with my MBA 2 years ago," she said, wiping away smeared mascara. "I thought it would open doors, but the job market was terrible. I kept putting living expenses on credit cards, thinking I'd land a high-paying job soon. The student loans were already crushing me at $151,000, and then the credit cards just kept climbing. I've been barely making minimum payments on everything." Man, I felt terrible for her. Here was this smart, educated woman who'd invested in herself through education and got screwed by circumstances. She seemed so defeated, saying things like, "I'm drowning and I'll never climb out of this hole. My MBA feels worthless." I remember sitting there thinking about how my parents had raised me to be responsible with money. I had a solid emergency fund and my software engineering job paid well. So I said what I now realize was the beginning of the end: "Maybe I can help you figure this out." The way she looked at me then, her eyes went wide and hopeful, like I'd just thrown her a lifeline when she was going under. She hugged me tight and whispered, "No one's ever believed in me like you do, Marcus. Everyone else just sees the debt and runs." Not going to lie, it felt incredible to be her hero. That feeling is what made me ignore all the warning signs that followed. The next few months, I tried to help her get organized. I built her a detailed budget spreadsheet, showed her how to negotiate with creditors, basic financial planning stuff. But there was always some new crisis that required cash immediately. Her car needed another repair. Her mom needed money for medical bills. Her startup cut her hours again. The excuses were endless. And like a complete idiot, I believed every single one. After 4 months of dating, I finally gave in and paid off her most pressing debts, about $6,000 worth of overdue bills and her highest interest credit card. I didn't have that kind of cash readily available, so I actually pulled from my savings that I'd been building for a house down payment. When I transferred the money to her account, she cried and swore she'd pay me back. She even made this adorable little handwritten IOU with little hearts drawn around it. Things seemed to improve for a while. She was less anxious, more loving, constantly thanking me for believing in her and talking about our shared future. I started thinking maybe this was it. Maybe she was the one. 3 months later, I added her as an authorized user on my credit card. I told her it was strictly for emergencies, but somehow everything became an emergency. New outfits for job interviews, salon appointments because image matters in marketing, a weekend trip with her girlfriends because she needed to network for her career. Each time I'd question a charge, she'd get teary-eyed and say something like, "I'm just trying to better myself," or "I need to look professional to advance my career." And because I was completely whipped, I'd feel guilty for even asking. Her credit score started climbing because of being on my account. She was thrilled about it, constantly checking the score on her phone and showing me the improvements. "You're transforming my life," she'd say. I never thought I'd escape that nightmare. I felt proud of myself. Stupid, but proud. I genuinely believed I was helping the woman I loved build a better future, our future. I started considering us moving in together, maybe even proposing the following year. Then her car finally died completely. It was this beat-up Honda that was probably older than both of us. She called me sobbing from the highway, saying it just stopped running and started smoking. The tow truck driver told her it would cost more to fix than the car was worth. "How am I going to get to work?" she sobbed over the phone. "I'm going to lose my job and then I can't pay any bills and everything you helped me build will collapse." I didn't hesitate. That weekend, I took her to a dealership and bought her a new Honda Civic. Nothing flashy, just a dependable sedan that would serve her well for years. It cost me $26,000, which I financed under my name because her credit still wasn't good enough for a decent rate. When I handed her the keys, she jumped into my arms, wrapped her legs around me, and kissed me passionately. "You're the best thing that's ever happened to me," she whispered in my ear. That night, she was more affectionate than ever. The next morning, I woke up to her taking photos with the car for Instagram. Her caption read, "New chapter, new ride, no mention of me anywhere, not even a subtle grateful for new beginnings or a hint that maybe she didn't just manifest a brand new car." Something about that bothered me. After all, I was still making payments on it. But I brushed it off. She was happy and that was supposed to be enough. At least that's what I convinced myself. But then I started noticing things like how she suddenly started working late twice a week, even though her financial struggles were supposedly because her hours had been reduced. Or how her phone became completely off limits, always face down, notifications dismissed before I could glance over. Once while she was showing me a funny video, a text popped up from someone saved as just D with a bunch of fire emojis. She snatched the phone back like it was about to explode. "Just my friend Diana," she laughed nervously. Right, because that's a totally normal reaction to getting a text from a girlfriend. Then there was the lunch surprise incident. I decided to surprise her at work, thinking it would be sweet to grab a quick meal together. But instead of being happy to see me, she looked annoyed, almost like I was interrupting something important. She kept glancing toward the door, checking her watch, rushing me through my food. "I have a big client call coming up," she said. I waited around. No client call ever happened. After a few weeks of ignoring this uneasy feeling in my gut, I decided to put my doubts to rest once and for all. That's when I planned a beach weekend getaway. A quiet coastal resort. Just the two of us. Nothing elaborate. Just some time away to reconnect. On the surface, it was a celebration of how far she'd come financially. A little retreat to mark the fresh start she always talked about. But deep down, it was a test. I needed to see if she was still committed to us. If all the strange behavior was just in my head, if she was really invested in this relationship the way I thought she was. I even considered asking her to move in when we got back, thinking that if I was just being paranoid, this trip would prove it. But part of me already suspected. If I had to plan a trip just to reassure myself that my own girlfriend wasn't playing me, something was already broken. I just didn't realize how badly. While I was researching beachfront hotels one evening, my phone buzzed. It was a text from Tyler, a guy who worked at the same startup as Vanessa. "Hey man, not trying to cause drama, but thought you should know Vanessa's been spending a lot of time with this investment banker who comes by our office for meetings. Guy drives a Tesla and wears expensive suits. She's been taking her lunch breaks when he visits. Doesn't look like just professional networking to me." My stomach dropped like I'd missed a step going downstairs. Vanessa hadn't seemed different lately. If anything, she'd been more loving, always thanking me for changing her life and talking about our future. I texted back, "Thanks, man. Know anything else about this guy?" Tyler replied, "His name's Derek, some hotshot from Goldman Sachs. Always requests meetings when Vanessa's in the office. She gets all giggly around him. Didn't want to say anything, but saw them in the parking garage yesterday standing pretty close. His hand was on her waist." I sat there staring at my phone, feeling like a complete fool. Was she cheating or just being friendly with a professional contact? I decided I needed to see for myself. The next day, I called in sick to work, told Vanessa I was slammed with a coding project and would be working late. Then I parked across from her startup around lunchtime. I felt like such a creep sitting there waiting, but I had to know. Sure enough, around 12:45, this guy in a navy suit pulled up in a black Tesla Model 3. He looked like a stereotypical Wall Street douche from a mile away. Slick back hair, designer sunglasses, the whole package. I watched him go into the building and get escorted to Vanessa's floor. Through the glass windows, I could see them talking in a conference room. And yeah, Tyler wasn't exaggerating. The way she touched his arm and laughed wasn't how you act with just any business contact. During her lunch break, they walked out to his car and talked for about 20 minutes. She was playing with her hair the whole time, something she did when she was flirting. They didn't kiss or anything, but the body language was obvious. This wasn't innocent. I felt nauseous, but decided to keep watching. That night, Vanessa texted saying she had to work late because they were launching a new campaign. I drove by the startup at 9:30 p.m. and guess what? Her car wasn't in the parking lot. I called the office pretending to be her brother with a family emergency. The receptionist said she'd left at 8:30, so I drove to her apartment. Her car wasn't there either. I sat in my car feeling like the biggest sucker in the world. Around 11:45, I saw headlights pull in. It was Vanessa in her Honda Civic, the one I was still making $450 monthly payments on. And she wasn't alone. The Tesla guy was following her. They parked, got out, and walked into her building together. I wanted to vomit. All those months of helping her, paying her debts, buying her a car, for what? So she could cheat on me with some investment banker? I was about to storm in there when I remembered something crucial. The car. The car was still legally mine. I had a spare key in my glove compartment. Instead of confronting them, I went home and made a plan. The next morning, I texted Vanessa, "Need to talk. Meet me at that coffee shop downtown at 2 o'clock. She replied quickly, "Everything okay, babe? Just need to discuss something. See you at 2. I got to the coffee shop early and watched her pull up in my car. She looked good. Too good for someone just meeting her boyfriend for coffee. New dress, hair professionally styled, full makeup. She'd made an effort and I knew it wasn't for me. She came in, ordered some fancy $8 latte, which I paid for, naturally, and sat down across from me with this fake concerned expression. "What's up, babe? You seem tense." I looked her straight in the eyes. "Who's Derek?" Her face changed instantly. First shock, then anger, then fake innocence. "Derek? Oh, he's just a client at work. We're working on some investment portfolio marketing." "Cut the crap, Vanessa. I saw you with him last night." She froze for a second. Then her whole personality shifted like the sweet, vulnerable girl I'd fallen for just vanished. She sat up straighter. Her eyes got cold. And suddenly, I was looking at a completely different person. Fine. Derek and I have been seeing each other. He's successful, ambitious, actually going places in life. I let out a bitter laugh, my hands clenching into fists under the table. And what am I then? Just some dead weight holding you back? She sighed like she was explaining something to a child. Look, Marcus, you're sweet. You really are. But Derek is on my level, or rather the level I deserve to be at. My level? I repeated, not believing what I was hearing. Yes, my level. I was stuck in a financial nightmare when we met. You helped me out and I appreciate that. But now that I'm back on my feet, I need someone who can keep me there. Someone with ambition, connections. Derek just bought a penthouse downtown and is taking me to the Hamptons next month. I leaned in, my voice calm but cutting. You deserve better? I repeated, letting the words sink in. Vanessa, when I met you, you were drowning. Your credit was destroyed. You were dodging debt collectors. And your car was barely held together with duct tape and hope. You weren't living. You were surviving. And I was the one who pulled you out of that mess. She opened her mouth to argue, but I wasn't finished. I picked you up when you had nothing. I paid off your debts. I gave you a fresh start. And what do I get in return? You acting like you climbed out of that hole all by yourself and trading me in the second you found someone flashier. I let out a cold laugh. You weren't looking for a partner, Vanessa. You were looking for a sponsor. And guess what? Sponsorship revoked. She had the audacity to look annoyed. Don't be dramatic. I was going to tell you this weekend. It's not personal. I just need to think about my future. I nodded slowly, taking a deep breath, then reached into my pocket and pulled out my keys. What are those for? She asked, looking confused. The car, I said calmly. I need it back. What? No, I need my car. I have plans with Derek later. It's not your car, Vanessa. It's mine. Check the paperwork. It's in my name. I'm still making payments on it. Her face went pale. You can't take my car. How am I supposed to get around? I stood up, feeling more in control than I had in months. Not my problem. Maybe Derek can buy you one with all his investment banking money. I walked out of the coffee shop, ignoring her yelling behind me. I got in the car, my car, and drove away, watching in the rearview mirror as she stood in the parking lot, screaming and waving her arms like she'd lost her mind. I texted her an hour later, find your own ride home. Your stuff from the car will be in a box on your doorstep. Don't contact me again. Then I blocked her number and started planning my revenge. Vanessa thought she could use me and then throw me away. She was about to learn a very expensive lesson. As I was cleaning out the car, I found receipts for things I didn't buy. Expensive cosmetics, clothes, even a spa weekend reservation for the following month. She'd been using my credit card for everything. The rage I felt in that moment was unlike anything I'd experienced before. This wasn't just about her cheating. She'd been playing me from day one. When I got home, I made a list of all the ways I'd helped Vanessa and how I could reverse each one. I wasn't going to do anything illegal. I just wanted her to end up exactly where she'd started before I came along, broke and desperate. And that's exactly what I did. I called my credit card company. Hi, I need to remove an authorized user from my account immediately. The customer service rep asked if there was a problem. I just said she's no longer part of my life and I'm concerned about potential unauthorized charges. Done in 5 minutes. I also contacted my bank to stop any automatic payments I'd set up for her other debts. Then I called the debt consolidation company I'd been working with to handle her remaining credit card balances and canceled our arrangement. By the next morning, Vanessa's financial life was in shambles again. Her credit score would plummet, her debts would resurface, and she had no transportation. But I wasn't finished yet. Next target, Derek, her new upgrade. The guy deserved to know what he was getting into. Finding him wasn't difficult. Vanessa had already posted a picture with him on Instagram with tags like #levelingup and #investmentlife. His full name was Derek Matthews, one of those young hotshot investment bankers with his face on the company website. I found his business email and sent him a message. Hey Derek, you don't know me, but I'm Marcus, Vanessa Wilson's ex-boyfriend. We just broke up yesterday, actually. I wanted to give you a heads up about what you're getting into. For the past year, I've been paying off Vanessa's massive student loan debt, about $24,000 worth of credit cards, rebuilding her credit score, and I even bought her the car she's probably been driving around in. She broke up with me right after I got everything straightened out for her, saying she could finally date someone on her level. I'm guessing that's you. Just thought you should know she's not financially stable like she probably told you. She's actually terrible with money and will expect you to bail her out constantly. Also, I've reversed all the financial help I was giving her, so she's about to be in serious trouble. P.S. I've kept all the receipts and documentation showing I paid for everything, so there's nothing she can do about it. Good luck with that gold digger. I almost didn't send it. For a moment, I thought maybe I was going too far. Then I remembered her cold eyes when she said Derek was on her level and hit send. It took less than an hour for Vanessa to find a way to contact me since I'd blocked her number. She started bombing my email. WTF is wrong with you? Derek just called me asking about my financial situation. You had no right to contact him. You're just jealous he's more successful than you. I laughed and sent back one line, guess he's reconsidering if you're on his level now. Then I blocked her email, too. Later that day, I got a text from Tyler, dude, Vanessa just got fired. She showed up 3 hours late for her shift because she had no car, then screamed at the manager when he wrote her up. Never seen anything like it. At this point, Vanessa was carless, jobless, her credit was tanking again. And from Tyler's follow-up texts, Derek was taking a big step back to reassess their relationship. But there was one more thing I could do. When Vanessa moved into her upscale apartment 8 months ago, nicer than mine, actually, I had co-signed the lease because her credit wasn't good enough. Time to fix that mistake. I dug up the paperwork and found the property management company's information. I called them. I co-signed for Vanessa Wilson's apartment at 789 Luxury Heights Boulevard. Due to a change in circumstances, I need to remove myself as co-signer on her lease. A week later, Tyler texted me that Vanessa was served with an eviction notice. Without my co-signature, and with her credit score now plummeting, she no longer qualified for the apartment. She created a new Instagram account just to message me, please, Marcus, I'm begging you. I get it, okay? I messed up, but you didn't have to destroy my life. Where am I supposed to go? Please, just give me the car back so I can get to job interviews. I thought about it for a long time before responding. I didn't destroy your life, Vanessa. You just lost the one I built for you. Then I blocked that account, too. Just like that, Vanessa was back to square one. No car, terrible credit, massive debt, a boyfriend who was backing away, and now no place to live. Tyler kept me updated on Vanessa's drama. Apparently, Derek didn't completely dump her right away, but he definitely cooled off. No more Hampton's trip, that's for sure. He told her she needed to get her situation under control before they could get serious. According to Tyler, she was desperately applying for jobs anywhere that would hire her. But without a car, her options were limited to places within walking distance of wherever she was staying, couch surfing at a friend's place, I heard. I was starting to think it was over, that Vanessa would just fade away from my life. But I should have known better. People like her don't go down without a fight. A few weeks later, I got an email from a new address I didn't recognize. Subject, that Tiffany necklace you promised. It read, Marcus, I know you hate me right now, and maybe I deserve it, but you promised me that Tiffany necklace for my birthday next month. You even showed me the confirmation email. I was counting on that. After everything that's happened, you at least owe me that much. It's the only nice thing I'll have left. I stared at the email in disbelief. Was she serious? After everything, she was demanding a $1,800 necklace I'd pre-ordered for her birthday. The audacity of this woman was unbelievable. I replied, "The only thing I owe you is the reality check you're getting. The order has been canceled. Enjoy your birthday." I thought that would be the end of it. I was wrong. 3 days later, my friend Sarah texted me, "Hey, Vanessa reached out to me crying. She says she's really sorry about how things ended and wants to meet you in person to make things right. Should I give her your new number?" Vanessa was clever. She knew I wouldn't respond to her directly anymore, so she was trying to get to me through friends. I decided to play along just to see what she was up to. "What exactly did she say?" I asked Sarah. Sarah sent me screenshots of Vanessa's messages, and holy crap, the manipulation was next level. I made the biggest mistake of my life letting Marcus go. I was confused and stupid. Derek turned out to be such a jerk. He dumped me as soon as things got tough. Marcus was the only one who ever really cared about me. I need to apologize in person and make things right. Could you give me his number? I think we could work things out if I could just talk to him. Then further down in the conversation was her real motivation, which she clearly didn't think Sarah would share with me. "I just need him to help me get my car back at least. And that necklace he promised me for my birthday. If I play it right and cry a little, I think he'll give in. He's always been a pushover." I didn't even get angry. That level of disrespect doesn't deserve rage. It deserves consequences. I wasn't mad at Vanessa. She was just doing what users do. I was mad at myself for wasting my time on a gold digger. I called Sarah and told her everything. Showed her the text from Tyler about Vanessa cheating. Explained how I paid off her debts and bought her a car. The whole story. Sarah was shocked. She told me you guys broke up because you were controlling her spending and were jealous of her male colleagues. Sarah said, "She said you took her car out of spite and were trying to get her evicted." I had no idea that's what she's telling everyone. "But it's all lies," I said. Sarah sent me more screenshots of their conversation, and sure enough, Vanessa had painted me as the villain. According to her version, I was an insecure, controlling boyfriend who freaked out when she got friendly with a client at work, then went on a revenge spree because I was possessive and crazy. Sarah cut Vanessa off after that, and apparently she told our other mutual friends, too. One by one, Vanessa lost her social circle. She had nowhere left to turn. In a last desperate move, Vanessa showed up at my workplace. I was coming out of the building when I saw her waiting by the entrance. She'd clearly been crying, but she'd also clearly dressed to get my attention. Tight dress, hair done, the works. "Marcus, please," she started as soon as she saw me. "I'm sorry, okay? I made a huge mistake. Derek dumped me as soon as he found out about my finances. I have nowhere to go. They're evicting me from my apartment. My parents won't help. I just need my car back to get to job interviews. Please." My coworkers were watching, so I walked her away from the building before responding. "You don't get it, do you? This isn't about the car or the money. This is about how you used me for a year. I thought we were building something together, but you were just using me to fix your life so you could trade up." She tried to touch my arm, but I backed away. "I've learned my lesson. I swear we can start over. I really did care about you, Marcus. I was just confused." "No," I said firmly. "What you are is manipulative. You don't care about me. You care about what I can give you, the car, the necklace, the financial support." And I just walked away, ignoring her as she called after me. That was the last time I saw Vanessa in person, but definitely not the last I heard from her. A week later, my bank's fraud department started calling. When I finally answered, the rep informed me that someone had filed claims disputing several large transactions over the past year, credit card payments, a vehicle purchase, trying to reverse them as unauthorized. Vanessa. She was accusing me of fraud, hoping to get the bank to refund all the money I had spent on her, including the car, essentially making me pay for everything twice. Fortunately, I had every receipt, text, and email proving she had not only authorized, but thanked me for those payments. I sent the bank all my evidence, and they shut down her dispute immediately. But not before warning me that filing false fraud claims of this scale could be considered attempted wire fraud, meaning Vanessa wasn't just broke anymore. She was now looking at potential legal trouble. And she was definitely spiraling fast. Tyler texted that she begged for her job back only to be turned away and left crying in the middle of the office. Then Sarah messaged that she got caught trying to return fake designer items at Saks with phony receipts. Security had to escort her out. Word spread that she was couch hopping, burning bridges everywhere. A month later, her parents, tired of bailing her out, told her she could move back home only if she got a job and went to financial counseling. No more city life. When she complained that I'd ruined her life, her dad reportedly shut her down with, "You're almost 30. Grow up and fix your own problems for once." I had to agree with the guy. And with that, I thought that was it. Vanessa moved back to her parents' place. My friends had stopped sending me updates about her, and I was starting to feel normal again. Then tax season hit. I've always been pretty organized with my finances. I keep digital copies of all my statements, track my spending, all that boring adult stuff. So, when I sat down to do my taxes in April, something immediately looked wrong. My W-2 form showed my expected income. But when I checked my annual bank statement, the numbers didn't add up. My actual deposits were significantly lower than what I should have had based on my paychecks and regular expenses. I started going through my statements month by month, transaction by transaction. That's when I found a pattern of cash withdrawals I didn't remember making. Small amounts, $250 here, $350 there, spread out over the past 8 months. None of them big enough to raise red flags individually, but added up almost $6,500 was missing. I called my bank, feeling confused and a little scared. Was someone stealing my identity? Had my card been cloned? The customer service rep pulled up my account. "I can see several in-person withdrawals made at various branches," she said. "Each one was authorized with your debit card and PIN, and the withdrawal slips were signed. Can you send me copies of those slips?" I asked. 2 hours later, the images arrived in my email. My stomach dropped when I saw the signatures. They looked like mine, sort of, but I definitely hadn't written them. And then it hit me, Vanessa. I called the bank back immediately and reported the fraudulent withdrawals. They started an investigation, putting a freeze on my accounts and issuing me new cards. They also said they'd be reviewing security footage from the branches where the withdrawals were made. 4 days later, I got a call back. "Mr. Thompson, we've confirmed that the person making these withdrawals was not you," the fraud investigator said. "We have clear footage of a woman using your card at several locations. Would you be able to identify her?" "Yes," I said. "That would be my ex-girlfriend, Vanessa Wilson." They sent me still images from the security cameras, and there she was, Vanessa, using my debit card, signing my name. In some of the pictures, she was even wearing clothes I'd bought her. The investigator asked if I wanted to file a police report. I told him, absolutely. This was theft, identity fraud, and forgery. The police took my statement and collected the evidence from the bank. They seemed to take it pretty seriously. Apparently, financial crimes like this were a priority for them. "Have you given this woman permission to use your card?" the detective asked me. "I added her as an authorized user on my credit card," I explained, "but never my debit card. She must have seen me enter my PIN or found it written down somewhere." A week later, the detective called back. "We're issuing an arrest warrant for Vanessa Wilson," he said. "This isn't her first offense." "What do you mean?" I asked. "We ran her name through the system. She has a history of similar complaints, though no convictions. 3 other men have reported nearly identical situations in the past 4 years. She seems to target financially stable men, gets access to their accounts, then drains them slowly. I felt sick. This wasn't just opportunistic behavior from a selfish girlfriend. Vanessa was a predator who had deliberately targeted me from the beginning. The detective continued, when we searched her parents' house, where she's currently staying, we found a detailed spreadsheet with information about your finances, passwords, and even a timeline for how long she needed to stay with you to get what she wanted. I sat down feeling like I'd been punched. A timeline? Yes. According to her notes, she planned to stay with you until you paid off all her debts and bought her a car. Then she was going to move on to her next target, this investment banker she'd already lined up. Everything suddenly made sense. The way she'd cried when I first offered to help her financially. How she always seemed to be going through my mail or watching me use my phone. The times I'd catch her in my home office and she'd say she was just looking for a charger. She'd been studying me, learning my patterns, gathering information. I wasn't her boyfriend. I was her mark. The detective asked if I'd be willing to testify if the case went to court. I agreed immediately, not just for myself, but for any future guys she might target. 2 days later, Vanessa was arrested for fraud and identity theft. Because of the amount stolen and the evidence of premeditation, she was facing actual jail time. Her parents called me apologizing profusely. They had no idea their daughter was doing this, they claimed. They offered to pay back the money, but I told them to save it for her legal fees. She was going to need them. The bank eventually reimbursed me for the stolen money, though it took almost 3 months to sort everything out. Vanessa eventually pleaded guilty to avoid a trial. She got 14 months in jail plus probation and was ordered to pay restitution to all her victims. Her parents sold her designer clothes and jewelry to help cover the costs. And yeah, it's been about a year since Vanessa got sentenced. According to the victim notification system, she's still in jail and will be for another few months. Sometimes I still can't believe all this actually happened to me. Like, how did I not see any of this coming? The aftermath of the whole Vanessa situation was pretty rough. 4 months after finding out about the theft, I had trouble trusting anyone. I changed all my passwords, got a new phone number, installed a security camera in my apartment, and became super paranoid about my finances. I checked my bank accounts multiple times a day, looking for any sign of unusual activity. But some good things came out of this whole mess, though. For one, I actually ended up getting promoted at work. All those hours I used to spend with Vanessa, I channeled into projects and overtime instead. My boss noticed, and 6 months later I got bumped up to senior systems architect with a pretty sweet raise. I also used the money the bank reimbursed me plus what I was saving on not supporting Vanessa to finally take that European backpacking trip I'd always wanted. 3 weeks exploring London, Amsterdam, Prague, and Berlin by myself. It was incredible to travel completely on my own terms. No compromising on where to eat, no rushing through museums because someone was bored, no pretending to enjoy overpriced cocktails at trendy bars. Just me following my own interests and discovering what I actually liked when I wasn't trying to impress anyone. The promotion at work came with new responsibilities too. I was leading a team of junior developers now, implementing cloud infrastructure for major clients. The irony wasn't lost on me. While Vanessa was sitting in a jail cell, I was building the kind of successful career she claimed Derek had. The extra income was nice, but more importantly, I felt genuinely proud of what I was accomplishing. For the first time in years, my success belonged entirely to me. When I got back from Europe, I felt like a completely different person. More confident, less angry, ready to move forward. That's when I met Amanda at a tech meetup downtown. She was presenting her work on UI design for fintech startups, and honestly, her presentation was brilliant. Smart, articulate, completely self-possessed. After her talk, I approached her to discuss some design challenges we were facing at my company. We ended up talking for 2 hours over coffee. And no, this isn't some fairy tale where I immediately fell head over heels. In fact, I almost sabotaged things with Amanda because of my trust issues from Vanessa. The first few dates, I was hypervigilant about everything. When Amanda mentioned she had student loans, I tensed up. When she pulled out her credit card to split the bill, I watched her like a hawk. When she got a text during dinner, I found myself analyzing her reaction. After our fifth date, Amanda finally confronted me about my behavior. "Marcus, I like you, but you're acting like you're waiting for me to rob you or something. If you're not ready to date, that's fine, but don't waste both our time." So I told her everything. The whole Vanessa saga from start to finish. I expected Amanda to think I was damaged goods or too complicated to deal with. Instead, she listened carefully, asked thoughtful questions, and said, "Thank you for being honest with me." That explains the hypervigilance. But I'm not her. What I appreciate most about Amanda is that she never tried to rush my healing process. She understood why I wanted to keep our finances completely separate. Why I needed to see her apartment early in our relationship. Why I got nervous when she mentioned any male colleagues. She was patient but also direct. She'd call me out when my paranoia was affecting our relationship, but she never made me feel broken for having boundaries. We've been dating for 8 months now, and things are good. Really good. But I'm taking it incredibly slow. We haven't moved in together, and honestly, I don't know if I'll ever be comfortable with that level of financial entanglement again. Amanda has her own successful design consultancy, her own savings, her own goals. She pays her own bills and doesn't need anyone to rescue her. That independence is attractive in a way I never understood before Vanessa. The biggest difference with Amanda is reciprocity. When I helped her move apartments, she insisted on buying all the pizza and beer for the friends who helped. When I had food poisoning and was stuck in bed for 3 days, she brought me soup and medicine without being asked. When her laptop died right before a big client presentation, I offered to lend her mine, and she not only took excellent care of it but sent me a thank you gift afterward. These might seem like small things, but after Vanessa, they feel revolutionary. As for Vanessa herself, I rarely think about her anymore. According to the victim notification system, she was released about 3 months ago after serving her full sentence. I heard through Tyler that she moved to a different state to live with an aunt, probably trying to start fresh somewhere people don't know her history. Part of me wonders if she learned anything from the experience, but honestly, I don't care anymore. The detective was right, people like her rarely change. I did get one final piece of closure though. About 6 months after Vanessa's sentencing, I received a letter from another one of her victims, a guy named Robert who'd found my name through the court records. He thanked me for testifying and said my testimony helped convince him to come forward about his own experience with her. Apparently, Vanessa had used an almost identical playbook on him 2 years before me. Same sob story about debt, same gradual financial manipulation, same pattern of cheating and upgrading to a better target. Robert told me something that really stuck with me. She didn't just steal our money, she stole our ability to trust. But seeing you rebuild and find someone genuine gives me hope that I can too. That letter reminded me that my story wasn't just about getting revenge on Vanessa, it was about protecting future victims and proving that you can recover from being manipulated. Looking back now, I can see the red flags I missed. The way Vanessa never talked about paying me back after the first few payments. How she always had explanations for why she couldn't contribute equally to our relationship. The way she positioned herself as the victim in every situation, even when she was clearly making poor choices. Most importantly, how she never seemed to learn from her mistakes. There was always some external factor preventing her from getting ahead. For anyone listening to this who might be in a similar situation, here's what I learned. Pay attention to patterns, not individual incidents. Someone who genuinely cares about you will try to contribute to the relationship in whatever way they can, even if they're struggling financially. They'll show gratitude, not entitlement. They'll have concrete plans for improving their situation, not just vague hopes that someone else will solve their problems. Let me know in the comments, have you ever been in a relationship where you felt like a personal ATM? Drop your story below. I read every single comment and trust me, you're not alone in this. And if someone tells you they deserve better or that you're not on their level after you've been supporting them, believe them. Don't try to prove your worth by giving more. They're showing you exactly how they see you, as a stepping stone, not a destination. Hit that subscribe button if you want more stories about people who thought they could use others and got exactly what they deserved. Because trust me, I've got more stories like this, and karma always wins in the end. The most important lesson, though, is that your generosity should never come at the expense of your self-respect. I thought being a good boyfriend meant being willing to sacrifice anything for Vanessa's happiness. But real love is reciprocal. It's about building something together, not one person constantly taking while the other gives. These days, I'm genuinely happy. My career is thriving, I've got a healthy relationship with someone who respects me, and I've learned to trust my instincts again. Sometimes I wonder what would have happened if I'd never discovered Vanessa's cheating, if I'd just continued supporting her indefinitely. I probably would have proposed, combined our finances completely, and spent years wondering why I felt so empty despite having everything. Instead, I learned one of life's most valuable lessons. Sometimes the best thing that can happen to you is finding out who someone really is before it's too late. Vanessa thought she was trading up when she chose Derek over me. In reality, she traded away the only person who'd ever genuinely cared about her future. That's not my loss, that's hers. And Derek? Here's where it gets even better. According to Tyler, Derek dumped her within 2 weeks of receiving my email. But get this, Tyler later found out through office gossip that Derek wasn't even the hotshot he pretended to be. The penthouse downtown? It was a rental he was splitting with 2 roommates. The Tesla? Leased, and he was already behind on payments. Turns out Vanessa's great upgrade was just another wannabe living beyond his means. She literally threw away a genuine relationship for a fake one. The irony is beautiful. But wait, there's more. About a year after Vanessa's sentencing, I got a letter forwarded through my lawyer. It was from Vanessa herself, writing from prison. She wanted to make amends and asked if I'd visit her or accept a phone call. The letter was full of manipulation, talking about how prison had changed her and how she finally understood what real love looked like. She even had the audacity to suggest we could start fresh when she got out. I showed the letter to Amanda, and we both laughed. Then I wrote back one line, "The only fresh start you should focus on is the one that doesn't involve me." I never heard from her again. I'm not saying I'm grateful for what Vanessa put me through, the manipulation, the theft, the complete violation of trust. But I am grateful for what I learned about myself in the process. I learned that I'm stronger than I thought, that I deserve reciprocal love, and that sometimes the best revenge is simply living well without the people who tried to use you. So yeah, Vanessa got exactly what she deserved. And I got something even better. I got my life back, improved and protected against future predators. Sometimes karma needs a little help, but it always comes around eventually. What do you think? Was I too harsh or not harsh enough? Let me know in the comments below. And if this story helped you recognize some red flags in your own life, smash that like button and share it with someone who needs to hear this. Because here's the thing, stories like this aren't just entertainment. They're warnings. They're proof that you don't have to be a victim forever. Sometimes the best revenge is simply living well without the people who tried to use you. Thanks for listening, and remember, you deserve someone who sees you as a destination, not a stepping stone. Don't settle for less.